that I got my lights done.
I know. I'm excited that you got your lights look great and your camera looks great just in time because we are live.
Oh man, we did it.
We did it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Engaged Family Gaming Podcast. My name is Thank You Ready Player Mama for the subscription. I appreciate that. We are live all across the internet. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitch. We're on Twitter. We're in multiple places on Facebook. So if you see this,
we are inevitable.
We are inevitable. We are. I mean, we're a stack on lockdown. We have inevitability. Let me fix my chair. I should be taller. So it's video game week. How do we know this? Because Amanda is here, and we actually have stuff to talk about. But first, I have an important announcement, programming wise. The EFG show is going to be put on hiatus for a bit. And the main reason for that is, like, Jeff had a kid, and the kid needs to sleep, and he needs to do adult, like, grown-up things and take care of his child. And it just so happens that's, like, right around bedtime for the baby. And so during that time, he's quite frequently holding his child. And he and I, and more appropriately, his wife, have agreed that it is an inappropriate time to yell about video games while he's trying to put his child to sleep. And you know what? That is fair. So if and when his child allows him to come back, he will come back, and we will bring the EFG show back. But until then, I'm going to put it on hiatus because it's not as much fun to do alone.
No.
Because I like to talk about video games with people, including one of my very best friends in the whole wide world, Amanda Farrow, the Princess of Power. How are you?
That's me. I'm back.
I know you're back. For people watching on video, be that on Twitch or on YouTube later, your video game setup is looking mighty stellar.
It's getting there. I need to put a little bit of art up. We're going to put some acoustic panels, and it'll look pretty good by the end of the week.
I think it looks great right now. I think you can only, I mean, clearly you have an artistic eye, so you can make it better. But I think it looks great. I'm going to have to 3D print like an EFG rocket to get it somewhere on there.
I'm so down for that. Please do that. There's space for it. There's space over there, in fact.
Can we put it next to, maybe if we could put it behind the Phantom mask?
Yeah.
Is that what that is? Is that the
It is from Persona. That's from Persona 5 Royal.
Yeah. So maybe we'll get it back there. We can get it so it's like in the background, not blocking stuff. I think that's.
Nah, it's all good. I even have a plant behind me. I don't know if we can actually like see my plant.
You have a plant?
My plant.
Oh my goodness! Is that plant gonna live with only pink lights?
I'm not gonna lie to you, it's fake.
Oh, all right. Well then, yes. The answer is yes. It will live. So
yes, it will.
I think it looks great. I think that
Thanks.
looks awesome.
I'm so happy I did this. Like I literally did this as I was prepping for getting onto this cast. So I was like, I hope I'm on time tonight. And I was only 4 minutes late. So
you were only 4 minutes
I'm going to chalk that up to a big old W.
Yeah. Why does it say I'm streaming World of Warcraft? Because I'm definitely not.
I don't know.
That is
it says
really
World
weird.
of Warcraft for me too. It's kind of weird.
I'm definitely not streaming World of Warcraft. This is definitely a podcast thing. I'm going to have to figure it out. Restream.io is weird. Because I'm 100% not streaming World of Warcraft right now.
It's goofing.
Yeah, it's being silly. Listen, we're podcasting today. So we've got actually yeah, I guess so. It does whatever I did last, which is really weird. Thanks, Twitch. But what are you going to do? Welcome to the Engaged Family Gaming Podcast, Mega Mom. So, since, Twitch is weird. Small little indie company.
Yeah, never heard of it.
Never heard of it. Small outfit. So, by nature of the fact that the EFG show is going on a temporary hiatus, we have news to talk about. And so I figured we would do it because we actually had some pretty big stuff. So let's start by talking about the pretty big announcement from last Friday that came out in the morning, and you and I texted it to each other as we both saw it. And we're both like, hey, did you see this?
It was awesome.
We were like, did you see this? And we were both like, yeah. And it was like something out of a Saturday Night Live sketch, really. And so that is.
Kind of was.
The announcement is that Lego and Epic have entered into a strategic partnership to create a digital metaverse product for children. And
Does kind of seem that way.
the first thing, I mean, it didn't specifically say for children in the top part of the announcement, but
No, but
later,
one can infer.
I mean, it's Lego, so one would assume, but also, like the first paragraph of the announcement was really just like, "Yo, we're teaming up."
Yeah,
Deuces.
exactly.
But then as you read down, they actually gave some commitments to the product. And all three of them were about online safety, online privacy, etc. for children and youth. So, like, whether it's designed for kids, at the very least, it's going to have kids in mind, which I think is
Oh,
important. And I
sure.
think that makes sense. It's Lego. And Epic is not exactly not
They're
doing
not
kid stuff.
slouches.
They do in the Fortnites. So, Amanda, what was your first, when you saw that, what was the first thing that you said to yourself?
The first thing that I said to myself, and like the first thing I think I said to you was, "Oh my goodness, finally an actual competitor for Roblox that can potentially unseat it. Finally."
Yeah. Yeah. I tweeted it out and just said, "Sup, Roblox,"
Yep.
because realistically, you're right. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. These guys have the power.
Oh yeah.
We know it's going
If
to
there
be an
was
Unreal.
ever if
Yeah.
there was ever a company or ever like a partnership that could potentially rewrite how we understand the metaverse for kids, especially with keeping children in mind, like building it with children in mind, even if it's not explicitly just for children,
Hmm.
but keeping their safety in mind, like that's huge. It's enormous. Like we talk about Roblox and all of its bad stuff all the time on this
Hmm.
show because we don't let our children play Roblox.
Correct. I don't.
If they show me if this Lego metaverse or whatever can demonstrate to me that my kids can go online, they can have a private server like with Minecraft, and they can only interact with their friends, I mean, that's huge.
Among other obvious and necessary things too. Like,
Of course.
this is one of those, like, but I think that's within reach. That what's so crazy about this is they have the potential to do exactly what you just described and more.
Mhm. Oh,
Um,
definitely.
and because you can, and what's really interesting is we talk about these two having the potential to rewrite how we think about metaverse stuff for kids. I would argue that Epic already has, because Fortnite
Fortnite is a
throughout the
digital
pandemic
playground.
did exactly what we needed it to do,
Yep.
which was it gave so many of our kids the opportunity to play together. And I mean, Minecraft did the same thing, but like,
Sure, and it was Minecraft in our house because our youngest children are younger,
yeah,
and they didn't start playing Fortnite until relatively recently
yeah,
by design.
and that makes perfect sense. I mean, I have teenagers, so
Exactly.
it's a different
A little different.
animal. And we were resistant to Fortnite too in the
Oh
beginning,
yeah. No, I remember.
and you remember it, and it took them going to Boy Scout camp and coming home, like us seeing them on that Wednesday parent visit, and them being like, "Yo, listen, you let us play Overwatch, let us play Fortnite, because for real, that's all everybody's talking about." And you know what? My wife and I had the conversation on the way home, and she wasn't super happy, but we didn't want them to be left out in the cold. So we fixed
Sure.
it. We let them in, and and the key is here, Epic technology, but the brand is going to be Lego stuff. I can't
Yeah.
imagine, like, and Lego
Lego
stuff.
is not going to put its brand. It doesn't like they don't partner with just anyone.
Nope, they do
They're
not.
extremely persnickety to work with in any kind of partnership, like in the
Mhm.
same way Nintendo is.
Yep.
They're very protective of their IP and of their brand reputation. So of course, if Epic is going to pitch them on, "Hey, what if we did a thing?" It has to be completely airtight and it can't leave any room for mistakes, quite frankly.
Yeah, I agree, and I think they know that. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, no, I know they do. There are no
because
slouches over there.
yeah, and I'm sure, if nothing else, even if they weren't aware on that day,
Hmm.
the consumer sentiment, if you just like looked at Twitter, there was some excitement. And I think that that's reasonable. I think that excitement was reasonable and justified. Lego is cool. Epic is cool.
It's
Um,
true.
anytime two people get together doing stuff, you get excited about it.
Yeah.
But I think the other sentiment that they got unquestionably was, hey, can we make sure that this is cool for kids? You know,
Yeah.
the entire like games
Airtight.
studies, game psychology, like basically Dr. Rachel Cowart and all of her friends were like, hey, come talk to some of us while you're doing this from the ground up, because they have the
Yeah.
opportunity to do so by nature of the fact that they just announced it and they don't have a product
Exactly.
announced. So this is a partnership. So
Yeah.
I think this is super rad. It can't help but be better than Roblox, because just about everything is better than Roblox. And
I would tend to agree.
I go, and don't mind everybody, I'm sniffing a little bit. I am not that kind of sick.
Are you allergenic right now?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's living things outside, so as a result, I'm not like North Carolina allergenic, but it's a challenge. So forgive me, everybody.
Yeah. Gabriel is really struggling right now. He's been
Yeah,
home all day because he's never had allergies before this year. So we're like, maybe you should just lay
yay.
down in bed.
Yeah, exactly. Stay home, chill, just relax. So I think this is super cool. I'm excited to see where it comes. That's the next thing. Is I'm waiting for the next shoe to drop, because I want them to tell us what this is going to be. And obviously, that's a ways away. We know how these things work.
Sure.
So I am going to. So I'm inviting everybody that is watching. Throw your questions into the chat, and we can always address them later on. We can do things out of order because there are no cops.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no podcast cops.
There are no podcast cops. I thought, speaking of Lego, I think now would be a pretty good time to go around the horn. I had an opportunity to play Lego Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga.
That's awesome.
And I have some challenging news to report.
Uh-oh.
I ran into the same game-breaking bug twice, and I've never had that happen to me before.
That's awful.
So it is the general actually was doing. She was my man in the chair. So because the bug happened the first time, and so she immediately got onto her Google machine and tried to look it up. Apparently, this is a bug that is happening to a lot of folks. So my hope is that Lego and if they're aware, that they'll patch it and fix it.
Yeah,
but
they'll
basically,
patch it for sure.
If you are doing episode 1, it follows the story of the movie. So you do the thing on the spaceship, and then you go down to the surface and you meet Jar Jar, and I guess spoilers for Phantom Menace, and then you're supposed to go to the underwater city.
Right.
Well, when you trigger the cutscene,
Gungan City.
Yeah, the Gungan City. When you trigger that cutscene, the screen goes dark and doesn't come back. So it fades out but doesn't come back in, which is depressing, and that happened not once, but then I replayed the level. I turned it off, reloaded it, went back, and it happened a second time at the exact same space. So the workaround, according to the internet, is to not do the episode 1 Phantom Menace right now while they come up with other stuff. Good news, there's other things you can do. So
other episodes that one may play.
Correct. And apparently the other episodes are quote unquote clean. They don't have this particular problem. So I think that's pretty cool.
Well, that's good.
With that said, I love it.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you love it.
So
I really am, because it's on my list of games to play.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Lego games are always super samey, right? Like that's historically, that's what they are. You're a dude and you kind of like run around and like spin around and punch things, and you're picking up blocks, and the puzzle is, platforming is not a big deal there.
Pretty fun puzzles in Lego Indiana Jones. But I haven't encountered like a ton of great puzzles otherwise, because it's Indiana Jones, right? Like, of course you're gonna have weird off the wall puzzles for that kind of a genre, right?
So you're right. But when I say puzzle solving, I mean light puzzle solving. Probably not even to like an Uncharted or anything like that. This is more, find the right thing, bring it to the right place, click on the right thing, build a thing, whatever. I'm happy to say that the combat is way cooler because I played through, most of what I have played is episode 1, and
Mm-hmm.
going through that spaceship, fighting them stupid droids. Roger, Roger, those guys, like
Roger,
beating them
Roger.
up. It works great. You just wreck them. You have cool combos. You can pick them up with force throw, and like as soon as you pick them up, they turn into a projectile, and it has a different
Oh my
projectile
gosh.
system. Um,
I
you
love
know,
that.
so yeah, and the way it directs you throughout the ship is pretty straightforward, which I really dig. So I think it's cool. I think it's cool. You're collecting studs and collecting kyber bricks. They're not golden
That's
bricks; they're kyber
neat.
bricks. And
Very
as you
cool.
as you pick up the kyber bricks, you unlock skill trees. So there's one for everybody, but then there's a skill tree for all the different kinds of characters. So Jedi, there's one for protocol droids. There's one for evil dudes. There's one for Sith lords. On down the road. And so you are, so you start obviously as Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi because that's episode 1. And so you're at the beginning, you're just leveling up Jedi powers.
Sure.
But it's really cool. The backgrounds are really well animated and really pretty.
Ooh.
And so just like in a lot of Lego games, right? Like the entire environment is not made out of Lego. The Legos are just the interactable bits.
Sure.
So they have, I wouldn't call it realistic, but they have animated water and trees and rocks, but then they'll have like a plant that's made out of Lego. And that's how you know what to beat up, just like in previous games. Looks really cool. Your force powers are neat. I looked at a lot of the skill trees, and they do somewhat cool stuff, although I have read that some of the powers are a little underwhelming. But you still are messing, they're there. I dig it. One thing that I do really like is right from the jump, you can turn on mumble mode
Oh my
and
gosh.
disable all and make it just like a regular old like an old school Lego
An
game
old school Lego game, yep.
as opposed to the new thing. And my oldest and I actually have like a bit of a contentious discussion about do we play with mumble mode or do I play with the voice lines. I chose to play. I did mumble mode for a little while. I switched it to the voice lines, just because I want it because the voice lines are taken from the movie,
Yes.
and so as a result, they're delivered with like this genuine, like this earnest, like this is serious. Whereas the Lego game, everything is stupid.
100%.
And so I wanted that
I like that
absurd.
juxtaposition.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I wanted because I love the absurdity. You know that.
I know you
And
do. It's your
and
jam.
exactly. So I am a little bummed about that bug. However, I think anybody, I can't imagine that bug's not getting patched out at some point.
I would
So I would
imagine they are
encourage.
working on it now.
Oh yeah, there's somebody lost a coffee break over that one, and they are working on it right now, and but so anybody that's waiting, anybody that's planning on getting it over the summer, because this feels like a great summer game. Like it came out now, but this really feels like a game that really
Just
should
kick
come
back
out
and
end of
play it.
June.
Yeah.
Kids for summer break because it's big, lots of open worlds, lots of stuff to collect, 9 movies to play through,
Ooh, that's gonna take a
7
second.
DLC packs worth of characters, including
Dang.
Mandalorian.
Cool.
So lots of cool stuff in it. So yeah, I am frustrated by the bug, and really all I am telling people is just wait. And if you were planning on waiting anyway, good, because it'll be fixed. Especially if you're going to wait for the summer or Christmas time. I'm going to keep my eye on it because I obviously want to play through the rest of the game. But so yeah, I think it was great. I think it is exactly what we've been waiting for all this time. And I'm glad they took the time that they needed to get it right because it's cool. Also, the opening sequence where they when you start the game before you get to the menu, easily the coolest opening to a video game I have seen in years.
Really?
Yep.
We played some pretty cool games, my friend. That is
Yep.
some high praise.
I play a lot of cool games. This was very freaking cool. It's on YouTube now, so anybody that's curious as to what I'm talking about, go go look up Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga opening. Um, if it was like 3 days ago that I was saying this, I would say like Barrett Courtney or whatever on Twitter put up a clip of it. But like for the rest of us, we can wait. Just
We
go
could
look it
wait.
up on YouTube. It is so cool,
That's
so
awesome.
cool. Um, because it's centered around lightsabers, and lightsabers are awesome because they're laser swords, and who doesn't like laser swords?
I love laser swords,
Yeah.
quite frankly.
Have you played anything particularly interesting recently?
I have not played anything new.
You've
I
been playing
have not.
Unpacking IRL.
Yeah, I've been playing Unpacking IRL, and it's not nearly as charming and fun. Because Ren and Tim did not design my life, and I really wish that they would just quit it and come design my life for me. I'll have to tell Ren that at some point, I'm sure.
You should.
I
I'll
I
help. I'll
will.
help you.
I will.
We can
No,
tweet at
Ren's
him right
really
now.
cool. Ren's really
Okay.
cool. We follow each other on Twitter. So
Oh my goodness, your
yeah,
mutuals with someone
we're mutuals. We're
who
mutuals
is
with
super cool.
the most like one of the most amazing dev teams at Witchbeam. But yeah, I've been playing Unpacking IRL. It kind of isn't great. Um, but it's it's slow going, and obviously I have my streaming set up now so that I can actually like, maybe sit down and stream tomorrow. I haven't streamed
Ooh.
in a month,
Yeah, I know.
probably more than a month at this point. And it's been really weird being away. So I have played more of Pokemon Arceus. That's been a big one for me because it's just such a big game. It's huge, and I still am really enjoying myself. It's had a lot more longevity for me than a lot of other Pokemon games. The
Great.
last Pokemon game that really grabbed me like this was probably Pokemon X. That was like the last Pokemon game that I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to see this through to the end. Sword and Shield got close, but anyway, yeah, I've just honestly so much of my life has just been dedicated to getting this house ready. And oh man, rolling credits on Arceus, Mega Mom, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. That's awesome.
Wow.
That is legit. I'm gonna yell at you
That
for
is
Pokemon tips.
that is very impressive. That's a dense game.
It's
But
really it's content rich, one might
yeah,
say.
it is. But I
Many
had no
content
doubt.
nutrients.
I had no doubt that Megamon was going to crush it.
That's so 20 levels higher than the final boss. I am not surprised. That game will eat your life if you let it. So that's a big one. I have in the hopper for me coming up next, Rune Factory 5, Kirby, and obviously Star Wars at some point, but I'm gonna push Star Wars off knowing that there's that game breaking bug.
Yeah, I would.
I have
It'll be there for you.
I still have Gran Turismo to play. There's a lot. There's a
There are a
lot to
lot.
play because
Hey,
there's a lot of great games that have come out this year. There's a lot of great indies that are coming out.
yeah,
So it's an embarrassment of riches out there, and we are so lucky. We are so
you really
lucky to
are.
be playing video games at this time in history because, man, the creativity is just boundless.
Have you put any time into Rune Factory yet?
Not yet. That's next for me.
Because
I'm
I'm
gonna go. I'm
curious
gonna
about it.
try to get. It's supposed to be like Animal Crossing, but make it a dungeon crawler at the same time.
And make it anime.
And make it yeah, make it anime nonsense, so extremely up my alley because I like all of those things. I
Yep,
very
it's true.
much like anime nonsense in video games, although not as much anime for real. There's only some anime I like. um but I'm excited to try it. I've never played a Rune Factory game before,
Yep.
so hopefully I can take a break from Unpacking IRL and being disappointed that Run and Tim didn't design my life. And hopefully I'll be able to play some games again soon. Maybe even tomorrow. If I'm able to, I might come back and play some Expedition Rome because
If
I
they have a new, don't they have a new
love
thing?
that game. New
Don't they have?
DLC was announced today, so that was
Yeah,
great.
I saw that come across my news feed, and I thought of you.
Mhm.
The Coliseum stuff, so you get to be a gladiator.
You have
Har
to go
har,
be a
rough rough.
gladiator.
That sounds great to me. Okay, so So we went around the horn.
You did.
Next time we will. I'm sure in the next 2 weeks, you and I will be able to talk a little bit more. I actually have a flight coming up soon, so like,
Ooh. Oh, that's true. You do.
I'm
Ash,
traveling
get
for
out
my
from
new
behind my
job.
desk.
I'm traveling for my day job, which is causing me to miss PAX. But I know a lot of people are
I'm
missing
not going
PAX.
PAX either.
I
I
know. So,
canceled PAX, which is
uh,
really
well,
sad, but GDC was a super spreader event, and
yeah.
I'm not gonna get as lucky at PAX, I don't think.
Well, because
I'm at the tail end of my immunity, so
PAX is gonna have a lot more people. So I am. I actually think I'm probably in okay. Like I'm missing it, but like
not like
you
in a
know,
FOMO way.
yeah, exactly. I mean,
I get you.
I think I'll be happier maybe next year, maybe in the fall with PAX
Yeah,
West or something like that. But either way, it doesn't matter. The day job needed me, so I'm gonna be flying to North Carolina. So
exactly. Got to go where the
hopefully
day
I'll get
job
some
tells you to
gaming in.
go.
Um, yeah, we're doing an escape room down there, and I think
Ooh,
that
team
my
building.
my current team building. I think my current company does not understand what they did, putting their LARPer friend into an escape room with them because I immediately go into LARP mode, which is what they're trying to get us to do, and I'm bossy, so it'll be really interesting. I'm gonna have to like team build as opposed to like boss people around. Um, it'll be, or maybe that's what they'll need. Maybe they'll just need somebody to take charge because they'll be confused. These are not gamers that I'm playing that I'm going to be in this thing with.
Ooh, you're in
Um,
with a bunch of normies.
bunch of normies. So anyway, so that's around the horn. We'll have plenty more to talk about. We've got a little bit of a lull in the next couple of weeks, which I'm excited for like new game releases, like big stuff.
Yeah.
Indie stuff is never going to stop, but we have some the the next like big game that comes out that is going to come across all of us is Mario Strikers, and that's
Ooh,
and then after
that's
that, we
the
get a
good
little bit of
stuff.
a break because a lot of the family stuff is not announced or got delayed because, like, it was Zelda. So we've got a little bit of time. I'm looking forward to being able to kind of go back through my catalog and do some stuff. So
Yeah, I have so much in my back catalog right now, so very much.
yeah, exactly. So I'm not mad.
Nope.
And I'll have on April 19th, I find out about the next World of Warcraft expansion, which I'm very excited about. Granted, I already know the name of it and everything, but whatever. Blizzard decided, someone at Blizzard decided to put the title of the expansion in the notes of one of the HTML files that they updated to the site. And so, speaking of someone who lost a
Oh.
coffee break,
Oh dear.
so anyway, I want to talk about something like crazy that it was announced this weekend.
Obviously.
So this weekend, I was told on TikTok that it was not much of a surprise, but I still think this was a surprise. There was a Kingdom Hearts 20th anniversary event that took place on Saturday. It
Yep.
was, and I knew this was happening. My assumption was that, of course, there was going to be news. There's mobile games currently in development. I thought that a next gen port of Kingdom Hearts, perfectly reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a spin-off if they got absolutely crazy, maybe DLC, something like that. No, those crazy kids over at Square Enix, they announced Kingdom Hearts 4.
4.
Not
And the internet collectively lost its mind.
Yeah, I had to check on Alexa Ray Korea because I thought she was going to die.
Oh, I literally DM'd her and I said, "Are you still breathing?"
I thought I heard a noise and I could have sworn I thought it was her backflipping off the earth because, like, for real, there was a lot of Kingdom Hearts fans that were very taken by surprise because those events
Yeah.
happen every year. It's mainly just a concert, which cool for them, but like,
Yeah, and I mean Kingdom Hearts music is awesome. I really would love to go to a Kingdom Hearts concert to listen
me
to
too.
the orchestral arrangements. Like, it sounds awesome. I've done it for Final Fantasy, which I love.
Yeah,
I've done Distant Worlds, I think, 2 or 3 times because I just can't get enough.
you know what? I've
Something
never
about
been to.
chamber music.
I've never been to one, but I really should.
You
Um,
should next time it comes to New York.
you know what? I have a good job now, so maybe I could now. So
Very nice.
you can come with me.
That's
Um,
true. I'll bring Mikey.
yeah, that's cool. We can do that. We'll make and you can
We'll
take
go for
pictures of me
pizza.
weeping. Oh, pizza sounds great. I do like the pizza.
I know you
So
do.
so Kingdom Hearts 4, it was
Yep,
announced. It
it was
totally caught
announced.
the universe off guard. Um, Big difference is this time it looks kind of realistic.
It looks like it's set in Shibuya. Like it looks like it's set in Tokyo. I know it's not in the sense that, they're saying that it is an alternate reality or an afterworld, I think is what they called it.
Yeah.
But it very much is reminiscent of The World Ends with You. And of course, Neo The World Ends with You, which came out last year and was a runner up for me for Game of the Year.
Mhm.
I loved that. Man, The World Ends with You is exceptionally legit. So when I saw the trailer, I'm like, what are we doing in Shibuya?
Yeah, I was a little caught off, and apparently, what we're doing there is saving humans and/or cars
Yeah,
uh,
from a
from a
heartless of
giant
some.
heartless monster.
Yeah, it was wild. It was a really, and the traversal. Can we talk about the traversal like just for a hot minute? The
Yeah, we
traversal was
can.
super, super reminiscent of some of the later chapters in Final Fantasy 15, which I
Mhm.
thought was just brilliant. I really liked the traversal. Um, I loved watching it. Like it was a combination of Final Fantasy 15 combat, what we love about the fluid combat in Marvel Spider-Man, right? The one that came out a number of years ago and therefore also in Miles Morales. And that level of verticality is just not something that you did in other like in previous Kingdom Hearts games. So, I don't know. And also, I wonder if this game will have lore that makes sense.
I mean,
Maybe.
you crazy. You
I
crazy.
know, I'm
I
dreaming. I'm dreaming. I
that
love these
seems.
games, but they confuse the absolute heck out of me.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely they do. It is. I
Go read
stopped.
Alexa's book.
There is a
Her
book.
boss fight book.
I did read that book. There's a boss fight book about Kingdom Hearts 2. I read it and I still don't understand it.
That's fair.
Um, and you know
Even though
what?
it's a great book, it's everything is just so confusing.
It's an essay about. It's a book length essay about Kingdom Hearts 2, written by a preeminent Kingdom Hearts nerd,
Oh yeah,
and it is so extra
it's
that
magical.
um, did I buy it because it was written by someone who is from Connecticut? Yes, largely. Um, that's it. That's why I did it. It was a Connecticut native writing a Kingdom Hearts documentary. And I met her once because my cousin introduced me to her. So I was like, I'm gonna buy the book.
Alexa's
I should.
sweet. A
Yes,
very
but
sweet human being.
yes, but she's a little extra when it comes to Kingdom Hearts. I think we can all agree. And so it's
She showed up
extra.
at a dinner that we were at GDC, and she had the cutest Kingdom Hearts purse. It was very subtly Kingdom Hearts. I took a look at it and I'm like, "Is that a Kingdom Hearts purse?" She's like, "Isn't it great?" It was
Yes.
adorable.
Um,
It was absolutely adorable.
and so I have long since surrendered on those games making sense, and I don't want them to. Like
They're just fun.
I'm actually perfectly okay with them just getting stupider and stupider. Um, because I really just want to watch dumb things happen on screen, and that this looks great. The speculation, though, because the internet can't help but speculate, and I want to
No.
hear your take on this, is that
Mhm.
the more realistic quote unquote art style
Mhm.
means that they might be introducing Disney properties that are more realistic, like Star Wars and Marvel. Do you
It
think that's possible? I mean, anything is possible. They could put
Anything's
the Engaged Family
possible.
Gaming cinematic universe into Kingdom Hearts if they wanted. But is it likely, do you think?
I don't know.
Do you think Grogu is a bridge too far in Kingdom Hearts?
Possibly. Not because I don't think that they would be an interesting fit for Kingdom Hearts, but I think that when you think about Kingdom Hearts, it's like the core of Disney, right? It's the core of what makes Disney really interesting. Maybe it will allow them to introduce more Pixar, um, like from Inside Out. or maybe this is allowing them to introduce Noctis from Final Fantasy 15. That
Yeah.
might be something really interesting. But honestly, I don't know. I think it's an interesting direction for the franchise. I love that they got rid of Sora's horrible goofy shoes. I've always hated those shoes. They have always driven me up the wall. But
Yep.
like our boy's all grown up. It's 20 years of Kingdom Hearts. I played that game when I was a teenager.
Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. You keep doing this to me.
I do it every
Um,
time.
by the way, I had a coworker at my new job. Um,
Mhm.
she's a coworker. Like, she doesn't report to me. Like, we work, it's a flat org chart. You know how tech goes. And but she and I have a one-on-one every
Why
week.
ever?
And at our one-on-one today, she said, "Oh, well, my mom is 47," and I was like, and she's like, and I'm like, okay, and she's like, so you're just a couple years like shy of being old enough to be like my dad, and I was like, we're gonna stop this right now
We're
for a
not doing
number
this.
of reasons.
We're not doing this.
Can I be like your cool older cousin rather than dude who is almost old enough to be your dad? Now, did I want to mention that my wife is only 2 years younger than her mother? I wasn't gonna do that.
How old is her mother?
47.
I'm 1 year younger than her.
Okay, so one. Um, and I was just like, I can't even. So this whole Kingdom Hearts being around for 20 years thing, like, I'm fine
A
with
lot.
it being 20 years, but I don't need to think about what was happening 20 years ago. I remember going to the mall to pick up the first one as an
I think
adult.
I got it as a present.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I
Pretty sure I
remember
got that as a
being an
present.
adult and going to buy the first one. And you're right. I think it is time for them to kind of move the art style forward a little bit. Makes sense
We
for Sora to
do.
grow up a little bit and be like a
Yeah.
teenager as opposed to a kid. Because that's really the
Yeah.
strike. The visual struck me as him being more of a teenager than like a little kid, which I think is
Yeah,
cool.
and that's what it struck me as well. And
Yeah.
I really do think that there's a ton of opportunity to grow the story up, to introduce interesting characters from other potentially Square Enix franchises. I think that there's a lot of potential for that.
You know who would,
And
not to interrupt you, but thinking about other Square Enix franchises, you know who I think would be really cool?
tell me,
Is the lead from Forspoken.
that could be
'Cause
really
she could-
interesting.
I mean, she could rock some of that traversal. That was basically right out of her game.
Yeah, that game, it looks extremely up my alley.
Man, I
So
hope
we're gonna keep eyeballs on
yeah,
Forspoken.
I hope Forspoken is good. I hope it's
I hope
good.
so,
I
too.
want it to be good. But anyway, back to Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, he got a grappling hook on his Keyblade now. I think that's
It
pretty
was
cool.
so cool. That
So-
traversal was everything.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. So I'm very excited about Kingdom Hearts. Obviously, they called it Kingdom Hearts 4. They said it's in early development. So release date 2028, 2029.
Yeah.
This is
yeah,
not coming out for a
probably.
while. I mean,
No,
you know what?
it's a long time in the making. These games take forever. Nomura is a perfectionist in the worst way.
Even if it was on a fast track,
Doesn't matter. Still going to be another 4 years.
Like,
Yep.
exactly. Even on the fast track with no delays, 2026. So this is going to be a while. We're going to be talking about this for a bit. I bet we don't even see another sniff of it until 2024.
Yep. 2
but
years.
and then we'll get a tease. That's when we'll find out if they're
Unless they
putting lightsabers in.
Bethesda this nonsense and they have actually their version of early in development is closer to alpha than we think. I mean, but we don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I
we
mean,
just don't know.
Could you imagine if all of a sudden it's just playable next year?
No.
Nerds would explode. So now here's
I
what's
would
interesting.
explode.
Yeah, me too. So further extra little stuff to talk about. So Kingdom Hearts 4 is tied up in some other shenanigans on the internet because there was a NVIDIA Games leak. At this point,
Walk me through that
a
because
while
I
ago.
was entirely not on the internet when this happened.
Sure. So basically, there was a 2021. So this is during 2021. Pardon me when I open the window. It's all the window is all white, so it's gonna make me look all white. Don't mind me. There was a 2021 leak that included a lot of games that were going to be coming to the NVIDIA GeForce Now.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
When this leak happened, the vast majority of the games that were on that list were unannounced, and many of
Right.
them appeared to be placeholders. So it looked at that time, and they were like placeholders of like sequels in long running series.
Yeah.
So it was like safe to assume. So for example, one of the games that was on there was Street Fighter 6. It was safe to assume that Street Fighter 6 was in development. So it really wasn't like a big revelation.
No.
And so a lot of folks assumed, because this happens at retailers. I used to work at Blockbuster Video back in the day, back in the day, and we had the names of and titles of movies that were unannounced and stuff in our system as placeholders. And so a lot of folks assumed that that was what was happening.
Got it.
But over time, enough of these games have been confirmed by the company actually releasing these games that now there is smoke. And when there is smoke, there is fire. And so I thought we would look at the list and, just talk about some of the potential other games that are EFG appropriate that are on there.
Speculating.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're going to
I love
speculate.
speculation.
So, here's the list. Well, I have to go to Reddit for the list. So, let me open up my sources. Everybody don't mind me getting extra neon. So, long story short, there's a Medium post, and I'm going to put it in the chat,
Excellent.
where a guy actually talks about how he, you know what, I don't know if it's a guy. This person figured out how they got confidential NVIDIA information. And so they were doing some arguably gray hat hacking, and got a bunch of names. And so these are some of the games that were on the list. Let me get.
Oh, this is a really interesting deep dive, though.
It really is. So some
those
of the
exploits
things
existed.
Some of the things that have been that were in that have since been confirmed. Because again, these were announcements about games coming to GeForce Now. So Sony, for example, Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Edition, that has been confirmed as coming to PC. God of War, confirmed, coming to PC.
Yep.
Microsoft stuff. We have confirmed Avowed, and we know that the Initiative is releasing a game, and it is coming to PC. Then Square Enix. We have a Chrono Cross remaster, which was revealed as part of this leak. That has since been confirmed. In fact, that game is out.
That game is straight up out.
Just straight up out. Final Fantasy VII Remake is coming to PC. That was confirmed. And Tomb Raider confirmed on Unreal Engine 5. That is confirmed as of this past week.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful.
And now Kingdom Hearts 4. Which Kingdom Hearts 4 was one of the ones where they were like, no, there's no way they're making Kingdom Hearts 4.
There's just no way,
Kingdom
right?
Hearts, it's going to have a different subtitle, whatever. Nope, Kingdom Hearts 4, confirmed. So, and also from Capcom, Street Fighter 6, confirmed.
Also confirmed.
And Resident Evil 4 Remake has yet to be confirmed, but there is enough evidence there.
It's happening.
So, and this is where we get to talk about something really interesting. One of the things they talked about was Monster Hunter 6. I have a very hard time imagining a world where Monster Hunter 6 is not in development.
Right, the really crunchy
Yeah.
Monster Hunter game. I will just play Rise and World
Yeah,
because I
but
love them very much.
which is fair, but because of the rise in popularity of not only um Monster Hunter the brand, because of Monster Hunter Rise, Monster Hunter World, um, and I think quietly, what's the free to play one? Um, the Monster Hunter like that's like an MMO.
Monster Hunter Dauntless.
Dauntless, because of like the popularity of like that and the Monster Hunter Online, like, and also the wild success of mechanically complex third person action games like Elden Ring and like Bloodborne and like Dark Souls. Like, I really feel like, man, like a really crunchy, mechanically complex Monster Hunter game, it feels like they could be like, hey, Souls fans, like, look, I get it, it's not gothic horror, but like, do you want to kill a dinosaur? Like, have you ever thought about killing a non-zombie dinosaur? And I bet a fair number of those people will be like, you know what? I could kill a dinosaur.
Let's go full Turok in here.
I mean, does that sound crazy? Am I like out of my mind for that?
No, probably not.
And so I feel like based on that, Monster Hunter 6 is kind of a
Well, I
given.
mean, Capcom is exceptionally intelligent when it comes to, furthering not just its catalog entries, but moving its most successful franchises along,
Yep.
right? So that would not surprise me even in the least.
Yeah. Um, and further evidence to so that Monster Hunter 6 hasn't been announced, but like I feel like it's coming. What do you think about now? This is not EFG appropriate, but I want to talk about it. One of the other games listed there was Dragon's Dogma 2.
I've actually never played Dragon's Dogma.
But we both know at least one person on the internet who would literally combust if it was announced.
I know
Um,
plenty of people that would combust if it was announced.
yeah, that game is such a weird cult classic at this
It's
point.
true. It's true.
It's
Lots of
so
people love
wild.
it. I don't know. I don't like for all the people that I know and care about that are deeply into Dragon's Dogma, I know almost nothing about it other than I didn't like the Netflix show.
I mean, it was a Netflix show. They're hit or miss.
They
You
really
kind of gotta
are.
let them go. Um,
Yeah.
they're not. They're not like Disney Plus feeding us.
All the
Feeding
good
us
goods.
hotness. Feeding us all the hotness. The
All the
last
good goods.
one. Lots of headshot central here across all sorts of things. Although it did predict the GTA remasters, which also came out.
We already knew those were coming though.
We did, but still, those hurt. And Crisis 4. But which is just wild. It's a meme at this point.
I don't even know what to do about that. I feel like I'm seeing my life flash before my eyes.
It feels like a lot of people are gonna know Crisis is coming and feel the urge to upgrade their PCs for it, even
That's
though they
all I
probably don't
feel.
need to. Like,
That's
it feels
all
like,
I
oh,
feel
Crisis
for
is
it.
coming. I need a new graphics card. When you probably won't.
No.
You probably won't because they're not
I think
those
I have a
guys anymore.
38. I have a 3080 in there. I think I'm okay.
I don't even know what I have. At some point, I'm gonna have to like check. I have to upgrade the teenagers before the next WoW expansion comes out
It's important.
because it's been chugging on the most recent content, and that's hurting his DPS numbers, and I need those back up.
Oh, I get it. You gotta
Um,
go, man. Gotta get those actions per minute.
so exactly. So the last game on this leak list that is in our neighborhood, Tekken 8, which is yet to be announced, but there is a 0% chance that Tekken 8 is not in development. Because Tekken 7, wildly regarded as one of the best and most popular in the franchise history, so Tekken 8 has to be happening, right?
I would imagine so. Yeah. There's a lot of hunger for great classic fighting games, and Tekken is honestly one of my favorites. It's Tekken, especially Tekken Tag Tournament, and Soul Calibur. Like those are two of my favorite fighting games.
Tekken is so good.
Gosh, Tekken's good.
Tekken.
It
Oh, we
just
got Mega Mom in
feels
the
good
chat
to
confirming
play.
that she likes Tekken. You know what?
Yes.
Could you
Tekken
imagine?
stands.
Let's pretend. Let's like fast forward to 2023, because at this point, video game wise, we're living in 2023, because that's when new announce. Could you imagine World War Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8 come out in the same year? How
And
wild
the
would that be?
FGC would explode
They would love it.
with joy.
Yeah, right?
And you know what? I want that for them. I want the FGC to be filled with joy.
Me too. They deserve it. They've had a rough couple of years with all their tournaments getting canceled and Evo almost imploding because of bad eggs.
Yeah.
Hey, at least they're getting cleaned up because they got bought. Thank goodness. I'm hoping that helps. I hope it helps because I really want. Well, we know Evo is going to be live this summer. So that's hype for me at least. Yeah, how wild would that be? Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6 in the same year.
Wouldn't be mad about it.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I've already told my kids, Street Fighter 6 comes out, we're getting a pair of fight sticks, and we're gonna sit right here.
We have two, one for Vivi and one for everyone else.
Yep. Well, I mean,
Vivi has the mini one.
Oh, she has the mini one. Well,
she's playing King of Fighters. That's what she's been playing with her bonus stat is King of Fighters. I dig it.
I have already thrown down the call and challenged everyone in my house to Street Fighter 6. I am gonna get good at that game.
Good. I look forward to you streaming it.
Wow! Did you hear my wife laugh from the other side of the room?
Wow! Sure did.
Wow, everybody! Let the record show.
I hope that the general throws down too, because I would watch that. I would pay to watch that. That's pay-per-view shit right there.
Let the record show that the general laughed at the idea of me getting good at Street Fighter 6. That is rude. That is rude.
I hope she's blowing you kisses.
No, she's not. She's looking at her phone. She just laughed at me. She laughed audibly at the idea of me getting good at Street Fighter. And now she's
looking in you, buddy.
She's looking at Pinterest or something.
That's fair. Same. I'm always
go,
looking at Pinterest.
Go be more basic.
Aw, man.
Anyway, now that I've
previews for Thor: Love and Thunder.
There's previews? Is there an actual trailer?
No, there's pictures.
Thor: Love and Thunder. He got the red vest thing. It is fighting words, literally, because we're talking about Street Fighter. It's street fighting words. Them's were some street fighting words. We're gonna have to throw down. Yeah, it's crazy to think that Thor: Love and Thunder is like 4 months away and we still don't have a trailer yet. Anyway, we don't need. This is not MCU family gaming. So
nope.
Anyway, so that's this leak is slowly becoming true, all of it, and I think it's gonna be wild. I hope they're right. I hope they're right largely because I really want to play Tekken 8. Alongside my Street Fighter 6. I would have a lot of fun with that. So, we did it, buddy.
We did.
We recorded one more really good video game podcast. We get to talk about the news again. So,
I love talking about the news. I'm so happy we're talking about the news again.
I know.
I've missed it.
I know, we're back.
So we're back, baby.
Programming notes for everybody. Number one, I said it at the beginning of the show, but I'll repeat it again. The EFG show on Thursdays is being put on hiatus while we wait for Jeff to have a child that sleeps, because that is obviously the most important thing, is him taking care of his child, obviously.
Babies.
However, I'm not going to do the EFG show by myself. There will be programming on Thursdays. It will probably be a little earlier, and it will probably be me streaming some kind of new game, or maybe playing my way through Koromon or something like that. And I'm going to try and continue my Saturday streams whenever I am available, because those have actually been fun. They're just going to be a little, just make sure you have the notifications on for Twitch so they pop up on your phone, because those games are not going to play themselves. Other things, you're going to want to pay attention to the EFG social feeds in the next couple of days. I revealed this last week. on Thursday when I had our guest on the board game podcast. Hi, Vivi.
Vivi got a haircut today.
Oh my gosh, Vivi
She
looks
has
cute.
short hair.
Oh my
Isn't
goodness.
she beautiful?
Yes, she is.
Totally beautiful. Good night,
so,
beautiful.
Good night.
I love you.
We made a magazine this weekend.
That's fine. We'll read 2 chapters tomorrow. Thanks, Honey Bunny. We're doing one school, 1 book.
Ooh. Yeah, you can make it up.
That's
Sorry.
fine. We'll do it tomorrow.
So we made a magazine this weekend, and it is ready for print.
It looks awesome.
It does look awesome. We're just working on the mechanics of how to deploy it. Like, are we going to host it on the website? Are we going to, whatever. So, that's just going to take a couple of days while we work out logistics. But by the end of this week, we're going to have a magazine. It's going to be in distribution. My hope is that everyone will look at it, read it, love it, and share it. Because this is like a new mothership product for us. And we're going to be paying attention to those distribution numbers because, I mean, who knows? Starts, gets 1 million downloads. That could be a big deal. So that's what we would like.
That could be a big deal.
We would like to go viral. It is all about board games with a pretty decent emphasis on tabletop role-playing games this time around. But I can't confirm or deny whether or not Goofy Movie is mentioned in the text either. So keep your eyes out on that. We will be back next week for more shenanigans. It'll be board game week next week. So Linda and I am sure are going to talk about the updates to the EFG Essentials. Next video game week, we'll talk about the updates to the video game EFG Essentials because we made several. Spoiler alert, we finally updated the WWE game. Since 2019, we finally were able to update it, among other things. So, everybody, you have a good night. We will be back soon. And until next time, don't forget, get your family game on. We'll see you all soon. Bye.
Bye.